It's really a great pleasure to have everybody here today. This whole effort today is possible because of an IMLS, a 3-year IMLS grant we got that Paula Kaufman and Carol Tenopir as co-PIs submitted to IMLS. And they pulled around this grant an amazing pool of expertise as represented in the experience that Bruce Kinma and Don King are bringing to this table. And we have Regina Mays from the University of Tennessee today with us because Carol was not able to be here. And I would like to thank from ARL David Green, who you'll see him there, for the support he's providing. Thank you, David. And we are here because two ladies sitting back there from George Washington University approached us and said, well, you know, we are really interested in being part of this grant. And we have, you know, a facility that we can have you use, and you can bring the research team, and there are other people interested in this grant. And we have a huge waiting list for this workshop. So we decided to videotape the event. It is not being streamed lively, but it's going to be available on the web for all those that are not here today. The GW interest is a very strong interest because they have their whole assessment team back there, and you may want to talk with them afterwards. So with no further ado, I think the key speakers for this program do not need much introduction. Their bios are in the packet, and it's really an honor to be here with them today. ARL has a strong interest in collaborative assessment, and this has been driven over the years by a number of forces: the need to demonstrate our value, the reallocation of resources from traditional services and functions to new services and functions, the rapid shifts in information-seeking behavior, and increasing user demands that we're seeing all around us. The ARL Statistics and Assessment program historically has been very good at describing libraries, mostly with input and output measures. But our full objective says to describe and measure the performance of research libraries and their contribution to teaching, research, scholarship, and community service. So we have been shifting the balance from the describing and measuring the performance to trying to articulate the contribution to teaching, research, scholarship, and community service. We've been able to do this through a multiplicity of tools that we've developed over the years for the library community. The ARL Statistics itself predates my lifetime, predates actually all of our lifetimes here. It started back in 1907. It makes everybody feel young. 1907, that's when the Gerald statistics date. You know, a librarian at the University of Minnesota wanted to start collecting data to see how his institution compares with other institutions. These statistics have served libraries and are still serving them well for what they do, but they do not cover the pressures of describing the contribution to research, teaching, and learning. And the last 10 years, we have made a lot of progress in that direction through efforts like LibCol, that have truly focused on the user perspective and have systematized user-based assessment in libraries. It's been a protocol that is being used by more than 1,000 libraries on a worldwide basis, about 200 libraries on an annual basis. We know a lot about our users. We're learning a lot about our users as they are shifting and as their perceptions and expectations change from year to year. A couple of other protocols that are part of this toolkit that we have developed over the years that may not be as widely familiar, but I think critically important as we move into the future, is the Minds for Libraries protocol. It focuses on the measurement of networked electronic services. It intercepts the user as they download the resources they want to read. And it asks them a couple of things that you cannot get from just usage statistics and log files. The DigiQual effort was a noteworthy effort funded by the National Science Foundation to articulate the service quality aspects of digital libraries. And more recently, ClimateQual, an effort that looks into issues of climate, diversity, and staffing within libraries. It has its roots at the University of Maryland. Charles Lowry and Sue Bofman are among the members of the team at the University of Maryland that led this effort. And with both of them now being at ARL, this tool is taking deep roots within ARL too. So this is a slide that has a little bit of a play effect, so you can click it a little bit more as you move forward. We try to bring all those tools into a gateway we brand it as StatsQual, which basically it's a more effective way for us to manage the different user accounts and some of the analytical capabilities we provide to you. So Lib-Qual, ARL Statistics right now are integrated, and we hope to have the ClimateQual Minds for Libraries and DigiQual elements integrated there too. As we are looking into the future, there are a couple of other efforts that are emerging in influence and are informing our assessment efforts. A small pilot of 4 ARL libraries building on the experience of the University of Virginia and including Johns Hopkins, University of Washington, and McMaster from Canada has been systematically looking into the application of the balanced scorecard as a framework for a performance measurement system in ARL libraries. A colleague of mine, Carla Streeb, is managing a new project around scenarios, another effort that informs a little bit the issues we need to be focusing into the future. The ARL Profiles, 86 libraries, have provided 5-page narrative descriptions of what they are doing and where they are heading into the future. This project is currently unfolding. A final report is expected in the fall. It is a complement to the numbers we collect in the annual ARL statistics. It is textual narratives that provide context for numbers. The other purpose of the profiles that is being led by a group of 4 research leadership library fellows is the taking of the information and translating it into questions for the annual surveys. We're not sure how successful we will be. We think some of the questions may be counts, but some of the questions may just be contextual questions, qualitative, open-ended questions. But it's clear that to capture some of the future elements of what's important in libraries, we need to articulate new types of questions for the annual surveys. And the reason we're here today, the return on investment study, the Lib-Value project. This project builds on experience at Elsevier, at the University of Tennessee, and Regina will actually cover more of the background related to that project. Oh, they have to rotate. Yeah, we can. Just wanted to make sure that you are aware there is a rich amount of resources beyond LiveQual. We have done an experiment shortening the survey protocol. It's my dissertation at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. It's competing with an engineering dissertation at being at the top of the list for the dissertation with the highest number of hits, if downloads means anything. I'm not downloading it every day. Then the Minds for Libraries, just wanted to cover, to make sure this audience is aware of it, because we see some synergies between this protocol and the Lib-Value work. It is a transaction-based research methodology that consists of a web-based survey and a random moment sampling plan. It typically measures who is using electronic resources, where they are located, if they are in the library, on campus, or outside the campus environment. And most important, the purpose of use. So by implementing this protocol, you have a sense of whether your users are downloading the resources primarily for teaching or for research. In the development of the protocol, the greatest interest was in sponsored research, because it was a way for indirect costs to be captured. And the whole indirect cost framework, it's something that Brindley Franklin and Terry Plum have developed over the years and implemented in many universities throughout the US. The portion of that protocol that relates to the electronic resources is the Minds protocol that was adopted as an ARL New Measures initiative in 2003. Now, how can we go from inputs, outputs? We know a little bit about satisfaction. With LiveQual, we know more than a little bit with all the thousands of data points we have. And we understand perceptions and, reported behavior as it's coming through LiveQual. How can we move from this environment to value and impact? So from feelings, perceptions, and a little bit about behaviors, to outcomes, to value and impact. From someone saying, I like the library because it provides all the resources I need and helps me find answers to new questions, which is what I think we're doing pretty well, to something like the library enhances my research or my learning, it saves my time, it saves me money, it makes me, my colleagues, my friends, my kids, better learners, better researchers, better professionals. How can we have users that can articulate that red phrase with passion? The libraries themselves, through the profiles work, are changing. These are some of the themes that Robert Fox from Georgia Tech and a couple of other people have pulled out as they read the profiles. So some of the things we hope to be focusing on and I think are important for return on investment, value, and impact components have to do with development and fundraising activities, digital publishing, e-science, collaborations across all levels on and off campus, scholarly communication issues like open access, author rights, assessment activities like data portals and data-driven decisions, space utilization studies. What's the return on investment, on this space, on the offices we are using, on the classrooms that students occupy, on the learning commons? Ken Wise, who's amongst ourselves today, and is part Ken right there in the middle at the University of Tennessee. The University of Tennessee team is particularly focusing on the information commons idea from a couple of different perspectives, both from a space and as a learning environment too. Use of social networking tools are some of the things we need to understand how we use them, both as inputs, as outputs, but also their value and impact components. Staffing changes has come up a lot in our discussions. And collaborative collection building, warehousing, remote storage, instruction activities, digitization efforts, and of course, where are we going to be 10 years from now, 20 years from now? What is the university going to look like? And what is the library going to look like when Maya, Alexandra, and Peter will cross those doors? I hope they will. So that's what we hope over the next 3 years we'll be learning, and 3 years from now we may come back as a group and see where we are. In the meantime, thanks to the funding we have from IMLS, University of Illinois, University of Tennessee, and ARL, are committed to working very hard to find answers along those lines.